World Series G, and I'm back with a new team breakdown. This time we're breaking down the Boston Celtics. Made some big moves this offseason looking to compete. Unfortunately, a big time injury set them back. But let's see what Brad Stevens and the boys got up their sleeve. Let's start by breaking down this roster.
Yeah, so let's check out the new look Celtics. Starting off with their biggest acquisition, Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward, who's out for the season, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Morris, another guy they acquired that's hurt, Terry Rozier, Aaron Baines, Daniel Theis, Shane Larkin, Gershon Yabusele, Semi Ojeleye, Abdel Nader, Kadeem Allen, Jabari Bird. Those last two are two-way contracts. So this Celtics team is I personally think they're a little trouble, man. They rebuilt their roster to be based around these big three guys, and one went down the first day of the season. They don't have the depth that they had last year. They don't. They're relying on young guys and new guys, essentially, to kind of fill in that spot. It was really, they turned from a deep roster to a top-heavy roster, and one of the pieces is done, and they're going to struggle, especially on the defensive end of the floor. This team is not going to defend the way they should. Good thing Brad Stevens is the head coach, and he's one of the best head coaches in basketball, because he's going to have to figure out a way to get this team to play defense. They look like they're going to struggle. Let's get to the defensive IQ of these guys on ball. We got Smart. Gordon Hayward would have been the second best guy. He's out. Jaylen Brown, Kadeem Allen, who's on a two-way contract. That's even if he actually makes the roster, but he's already one of their better defenders. Terry Rozier, Daniel Theis, Al Horford, Marcus Morris, who's also hurt. I think he'll be super vital once he comes back. Tatum, Irving, Nader, Bird, Ojeleye, those guys. So essentially what you're looking at is their starting lineup isn't filled with great defenders. I mean, Smart and Brown on the wings, but then Jason Tatum, who's already going to be playing out of position in a lot of games at the 4. I mean, there are still teams that play big enough that's going to exploit Jason Tatum's lack of size and the fact that he's a rookie in the NBA. Al Horford is good, but he's not great in one area, and it kind of hurts him because he's not the super rim protector. He's not going to pick up for all your faults, and you're going to have a lot of faults with a rookie and Kyrie Irving at the top. I mean, he's essentially better than Isaiah Thomas, but he's not that much better. And you don't have like an Avery Bradley to really bail you out. And they just struggle. They're going to struggle overall with just roster flexibility, because without Marcus Morris, they really don't have a true power forward. They can't really play two bigs. I mean, the most they can do is play Baines and Horford, which is, I guess, it's passable, but not over long stretches of time when sometimes you're just going to need two bigs on the floor. And Tatum's mobile, but he's not really that type of guy defensively yet. He's a wing. He's a wing. He's not a 4. He can try to play 4, but some teams are just going to bully him. Marcus Morris is perfect because he can kind of play both ways. He can be mobile, but he also has strength. And just overall, this team is going to try to score points. Another big issue is they just don't shoot. I mean, Kyrie Irving, and then probably their second best shooter is Al Horford. I mean, Yabusele here is their second best three-point shooter, but that's how much floor time he's going to really see. The thing is, a lot of guys that have the skill sets that could fit in aren't really rotation guys, and Yabusele and Allen, who's not even technically on the roster. So, I mean, when Gordon Hayward would have been that excellent release valve for them, but he's not available. And Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, all shoddy at best from three. You're kind of hoping that they'll be productive. So it's gonna be a mismatch. It's gonna be like you have to mix and match pieces. It's not perfectly built at this exact moment, but I guess you could essentially expect that with a brand new team, bringing back only 4 guys. But the talent, there's still talent. It's not the perfect fit. So let's just break down their offense. Brad Stevens has built a decent one for these guys. And let's see what Brad Stevens has designed in the Celtics freelance.
Celtics have their own personal freelance called the Celtics Freelance, and it's got 4-round-1 spacing like the other team-specific freelances. The difference here is their spacing. One thing you'll notice is at the top of the key, there's actually no guys literally standing at the top of the key. Both guys kind of standing at like in between top and elbow areas and swing the ball back and forth, while there's 2 guys on the corners, and then the big man is not really in the low post, but the mid post. What that mid post action allows is for back cut screen actions and allows the guys to literally just switch positions. Another key thing is the 2 guys on the corner always allow for corner shooters in drive and kick situations. The issue with this Celtics team without Gordon Hayward, and even to a lesser extent Marcus Morris, is you don't really trust any of those guys standing on the corner. Guys like Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum aren't really like knockdown shooters. So even if they do get those open shots in the corner, they tend to not make them enough to be really worth even guarding, honestly. In the games I played with them, those guys just struggled to knock down shots and kind of bog down the offense, because those without the floor spacing, the offense is going to struggle. And without a guy like Gordon Hayward, most likely your offense is going to struggle for the most part. With Horford and Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward's almost a perfect release valve for those 2 guys, especially because Horford's not someone you would call like a shot creator. He's more of an all-around player who can do things. He's honestly their second best shooter after Kyrie Irving. I mean, so I was actually kind of successful with having Horford in the corner knocking down threes than any of the wings that the Celtics put out on the floor. So obviously Kyrie's a dynamic scorer in his own right, but when you have no one else that you can really give the ball to and that can be trusted from beyond the arc, even a dynamic scorer like Kyrie, especially someone at the limited height he has, is going to struggle. And one thing I kind of experimented while using them was using a guy like Smart and Rozier, and kind of using Kyrie as the fallback guy in the corner. Allows for more spacing and allows those guys to drive. Obviously, they're not the best driving options, but at least it opened up this floor a little bit more and caused for less congestion, which is a big issue when you got playing guys who really just aren't going to trust those guys shooting. So obviously you'll get your shots through some back cuts. There's some good screening actions. But if you're a guy that really wants to space the floor and shoot threes, which is the Celtics' ultimate game plan, they're going to struggle because those guys just aren't knockdown shooters yet. But if you're a good Celtics player and you know your guys' releases, you'll make a little bit more than I did as a guy who just kind of jumped in with this Celtics team. But it's still going to be a struggle without Hayward if you decide to play online with these guys. The biggest issue, though, with this team is their defense. We're going to actually break down this defense right now. So, Brad Stevens and the Celtics team has always been known for their defense. But this year, with the addition of Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving, to a lesser extent, they went all in on offense to get some more points. And then when Hayward went down, you're going to realize that the defense isn't going to be their strong suit. When I broke down the roster, you saw the lack of really good defenders on this team. And when you got to start two young guys like a Jaylen Brown and a Jason Tatum, you're going to struggle defensively. They don't have high defensive IQs. They're not really great defenders too. So, and Kyrie at the top, he's better than Isaiah Thomas, but he's not great in his own right. So you're going to struggle. There's a lot of times where I'm just wondering, what is the defense doing? Guys are just getting to the cup, into the lane recklessly, just easily. And there's not much you can honestly do about it, but try to play the least conservative defense as possible. I believe with a Celtics team, you should be able to at least switch a little bit. And those switches were getting me killed. The defense is just not really strong. There are matchup situations, but you're kind of losing the offense that you need. Marcus Smart, who's their best defender, I had a hard time guarding twos with him. He's small. And you play teams with bigger twos, like playing Toronto with DeMar DeRozan. Despite how good he is defensively, he just doesn't have the height and the length to really bother a lot of those guys, especially when they're driving to the rim. Right now, they seem like a bit of a disaster defensively. They're not a team you really want to pick up and play with, honestly. You're going to take some time to work out the kinks, find what's strong with them, and honestly, you're going to have to pretty much bog down defensively. You're not going to score 120 to 115 games with this team. They don't have the firepower, so you're going to have to play knockdown, drag-out type defense, and that's going to take time to learn with a roster like this. But it's a highly rated team, so obviously the talent is there. It's for you to find the right pieces. They don't completely mix right now. It's going to take time, but it's the Boston Celtics. You've got talent. You got a good coach for whatever the coach settings do for your players, and they'll still be decent team in the East. I don't think they're the Eastern Conference best team as like they were last year. They're probably like a 4 or 5 seed, but still pretty good. So that's World Series G. This is my Boston Celtics breakdown. Look out for my other breakdowns and other ones coming soon. If you like this, please leave a like, subscribe, comment. And this is World Series G signing out. Peace.